What if your mind works in a way that less than 1% of people can truly understand? Those deep, abstract thoughts running through your head, they might be evidence that you belong to a rare group Carl Jung spent years trying to describe. Modern psychology now confirms what Jung suspected. The most complex minds often align with rare cognitive types like INFJ or INTJ, personalities that don't just see the world as it is, but as it truly means beneath the surface. Stay with me, because by the end of this video, especially by sign number 8, you may start to see yourself in a completely new light. Jung once said, "The privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are." But what happens when who you are feels alien to almost everyone else? When your perception runs so deep that you feel misunderstood, isolated, or even doubted for your insights. According to Jung, some minds don't just think differently, they operate on an entirely different level of consciousness. This isn't just about intelligence, it's about perception, pattern recognition, seeing the invisible threads of meaning where others only see facts. And here's the paradox. Most people with this rare mental design don't even realize it. They feel too intense, too abstract, too sensitive. They wonder why small talk drains them, or how they always seem to sense what's coming before others even notice a shift. Sound familiar? Then you may be part of the rare 1%. Let's explore the 8 signs that reveal if your mind is truly one of them. Sign number 1. You think in patterns others can't see. Carl Jung called it introverted intuition, a rare ability to perceive hidden connections, not just facts. While others focus on what happened, your mind naturally asks why, how it's connected, and what it means next. You see systems where others see randomness. Every word, gesture, or event fits into a larger web of meaning. It's not just thought, it's multi-layered perception, pulling from what Jung described as the collective unconscious, a deep well of symbols, archetypes, and insight. When watching a movie, do you often predict the ending from a subtle sense, not obvious clues? Do you understand people's motives before they speak them? That's not guesswork. It's the signature of an archetypal thinker. You don't just think, you track emotions, symbols, ripple effects. Your mind processes reality on multiple levels. That's why people often don't understand you. But this rare gift isn't just social. It's your key to decoding the deeper patterns of life itself. Sign number 2. You experience reality in layers of meaning. Carl Jung once said, "Everything that irritates us about others can lead us to an understanding of ourselves." But for someone like you, it goes deeper. You don't just experience events, you absorb the emotional, psychological, and symbolic layers behind them. When someone says, "I'm fine," you hear the voice hesitation, see the sadness in their eyes, feel the tension in their body, and you just know they're not fine. Jung called this psychological depth perception. While most people only process surface-level cues, your mind naturally pierces through the outer shell into the unconscious. It's like reading between the lines of reality, sensing meaning others miss entirely. And yet, trying to explain these insights often gets you blank stares. Not because you're wrong, but because others can't see what you see. Your mind communicates in metaphor, symbolism, and imagery, because linear language can't always hold the truth you're trying to express. Do you often resonate with dreams, archetypes, or mythic stories? Do abstract ideas feel intuitive to you, even when others don't get it? That's because you're operating from a deeper layer of the psyche, what Jung called the archetypal realm. You're not just aware of what is, you're decoding what lies beneath. Sign number 3, you're drawn to the shadow. Carl Jung once said, "One does not become enlightened by imagining figures of light, but by making the darkness conscious." And your mind lives by that truth. While most people avoid uncomfortable emotions, repressed desires, and moral gray zones, you're drawn to them. You want to know why people lie, betray, hurt, or break down. You're not interested in judging these behaviors, you want to understand them. This is what Jung called shadow work, facing the hidden parts of the psyche most people ignore. Where others see darkness as something to fear, you see it as a path to truth and healing. You understand that within every fear is a wound. Behind every shadow is insight. Your mind naturally integrates opposites, light and dark, pain and growth, guilt and grace. This isn't morbid curiosity. It's deep psychological maturity. You're fascinated by complex characters, deep psychology, true crime, or existential philosophy. Not for drama, but for wisdom. You know that real growth isn't about pretending to be perfect, it's about becoming whole. While the world hides behind simplicity, your mind searches for meaning in contradiction. And that's what sets you apart. Sign number 4. You feel like you're speaking a different language. Carl Jung called it psychological loneliness. Not just being alone, but feeling unseen in how your mind works. You've probably shared thoughts that felt clear and meaningful, only to be met with confusion or shallow replies. It's not that you're wrong, you're simply thinking on a different frequency. Your thoughts aren't just words. They're layered with emotion, intuition, memory, and archetypal meaning. You're speaking in color, while others only hear in black and white. So you hold back. You simplify. You say, "Never mind," too often, not because you don't care, but because explaining your inner world feels impossible without building an entire framework first. That's why you might prefer writing to speaking, or one-on-one talks over noisy group conversations. Art, music, metaphors, these are your true languages. And sometimes silence feels easier than translation. But Jung discovered something crucial. This isn't a flaw. It's a rare form of communication, one that moves people. Even if they can't explain why, you're not too much. You're just tuned to a deeper frequency. And your task isn't to be understood by everyone, but to find those who can feel what you're really saying, even without words. Sign 5. You feel restricted by pure logic. It might seem odd. Logic is meant for clarity. But Carl Jung found that rare minds don't thrive on logic alone. They often feel confined by it. If this sounds like you, know this: you're not anti-logic. You simply see that logic, while useful, isn't the whole story. Your mind moves beyond a straight line from A to B, weaving through patterns, emotions, symbols, and subtle truths that are deeply felt but hard to explain. Jung called this intuitive logic, a way of perceiving that blends rational thought with subconscious insight, archetypal resonance, and emotional intelligence. While most follow step-by-step reasoning, your mind sees a non-linear web of interconnected truths. So when facing a problem, you ask, what feels aligned? What serves the bigger picture? What honors complexity? That's why you 1. Trust your gut even against objective logic. 2. sense flaws in arguments that seem airtight. 3. Prefer creative, open-ended solutions over rigid rules. 4. Feel drained by talks insisting on proof, ignoring the unmeasurable. Jung says this isn't a flaw, it's a higher integration. You haven't rejected logic, you've transcended it, blending it with intuition, empathy, and depth psychology for a richer worldview. Your thoughts aren't chaotic, they're symphonic. But to those used to one clear tune, your harmony sounds like noise. That's why they don't understand. This fusion of intellect and intuition leads to your next rare trait. Sign 6. You see through social masks instantly. Carl Jung said, "Everything that irritates us about others can lead us to an understanding of ourselves." But what if you naturally see through others before they even know what they're hiding? If you've ever sensed who's anxious, pretending, or hiding a secret in a room, that's not luck. You have psychological X-ray vision. While others take appearances at face value, you detect the energy behind words, micro-expressions that betray tone, and subtle hesitations revealing true selves. Jung called this active imagination, a bridge between conscious and unconscious, allowing you to see others' inner lives silently. You don't just notice masks, you feel the fear behind arrogance, insecurity beneath charm, and the need for connection behind walls. You see the human beyond the performance, even when they can't. That's why people 1. Open up to you unexpectedly. 2. Rely on you emotionally as a confidant or therapist friend. 3. Feel you just get it, without many words. 4. Struggle to lie because you always sense the truth. But Jung also warned, this gift can be isolating. You navigate a world of masks, scripted talk, and surface interactions. You know what people feel, but they hide behind roles and personas. You hold their truths while hiding your own, sometimes doubting if you're too sensitive or intense. Jung says the opposite. This nuanced perception is a rare gift and a burden. Seeing truth makes pretending hard. Craving authenticity makes small talk unbearable. Maybe this loneliness isn't a flaw, but a compass pointing to your true path. The next sign might reveal more. Sign 7. You experience existential loneliness. Carl Jung described existential loneliness, not from lack of connection, but from depth of perception. If this resonates, you felt it deeply. It's not about being physically alone, but being the only one who sees what you see. You may be surrounded by people, laughing and loved, yet feel like you speak a language no one else understands. Your mind doesn't stay in the here and now. It wanders into vast questions. Why are we here? What is life's purpose? How do we accept death and pain? These aren't mere curiosities, they're inner imperatives. Your consciousness seeks truths beyond society's surface and traditions. Jung saw this existential questioning as inner maturity. While most avoid depth, you dive into life's ocean, aware of its temporary, paradoxical nature, which isolates you. When you try to share, people often change the subject or dismiss it as too deep. So you've likely found 1. Books, poetry, and music understand you better than people. 2. You crave soulful conversations, not just facts. 3. You silently question accepted norms. 4. You often feel like a visitor from another dimension where things are felt deeply and clearly. Jung said, "The privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are." But what if your true self exists beyond most people's perception? This is the painful paradox of a rare mind, to carry depths no one else can hold. Yet Jung's deeper truth is existential loneliness isn't punishment, but a signpost. Your awareness has stretched beyond culture into spiritual growth. You're on a path not of conformity, but transcendence. And that brings us to the final and most transformative sign. Sign 8. You're magnetically drawn to transformation. Carl Jung studied individuation, the deep psychological process of becoming whole, not just coping, but undergoing profound transformation. The rarest minds, often misunderstood and intense, are those most called to this path. If this speaks to you, it's no accident. You're driven by personal evolution. You seek your true self, even through pain and discomfort, knowing that death precedes rebirth. While others chase safety, your soul seeks fire, forging authenticity. Jung called these people introverted intuitives, drawn to transformation over power or prestige. You've likely faced deep crises, emerging stronger and more aligned. You, 1. Attract experiences that break old identities. 2. Gravitate towards spiritual or psychological initiations. 3. See life as unfolding chapters, each more real than the last. 4. Understand crisis as an invitation to awaken. For you, transformation isn't optional. It's destiny. It chases you because staying the same is the real danger. Others may fear change, but you were born for it. Jung said, the most terrifying thing is to accept oneself completely. That's your path. Not ease, but courageous becoming. You're not waiting to be saved. You're co-creating your own evolution. This rare mind, one that senses what others miss, is often misunderstood. But remember, your difference isn't a curse. It's a bridge. Those who dwell in depths, speak symbols, see shadows, and seek transformation, help others awaken. You're here to translate complexity into clarity, a vessel of meaning in a distracted world. Every trait called too much is your gift and edge. You think in patterns, feel the unconscious currents, listen deeply, wrestle with existence. Not lost, but awake. Jung's paradox: the more awakened the mind, the lonelier it feels. But you're not alone. An invisible tribe of rare minds, introverted intuitives, shadow walkers, visionaries, recognize each other in words and silence. If you've wondered why you're different, now you know. You're becoming your true self. Not to hide, but to honor. Jung wrote, "The privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are." Your task: honor your mind's complexity. Stop shrinking to fit a world not built for you. Step forward, not broken, but ready to be seen. The world needs those who stand out, who open locked doors. Welcome to the 1%, the few who see, feel, question, and dare to become more. The question is no longer, do you have a rare mind? You know the answer. The real question is, what will you do with it? How will you use your depth and clarity to light the way for others? Jung didn't just give us a soul map. He gave us a challenge to stop hiding, stop pretending, and start remembering who we truly are. Thank you for joining this journey. If it resonated, please subscribe and leave a comment. Most importantly, share this video with someone who feels different. They may need your sign. See you next time. Remember, you're not alone. You're just ahead of your time.